President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi marked Labor Day on Saturday with a speech celebrating Egyptian workers as central to the country's economic development, describing them as key partners in Egypt's drive to localize industry, expand job creation, and strengthen technical skills. The President delivered his remarks from the Suez Steel Company, an industrial site in the city of Suez chosen to spotlight ongoing development projects in the area. President el-Sisi said that the celebration is not just an annual tradition but a clear message reflecting the state's deep appreciation for the value of work and the role of workers in driving industrial growth. The President linked the success of new factories and production facilities to what he called the strong arms and unwavering determination of Egyptian workers. He noted that their efforts are helping to build industrial hubs in new cities and critical infrastructure, steps he framed as essential to broader economic transformation and job opportunities for Egypt's youth. In his address, el-Sisi also announced the signing of a new labor law, describing it as a qualitative leap in the journey of workers' rights. According to the presidency, the law strengthens job protection, supports women's rights, and brings Egypt closer to international labor standards. The President outlined further directives aimed at embedding labor protections into the broader new Republic framework, completing legislation to regulate domestic work, expanding social protection for informal workers, including health grants, launching a youth skills initiative offering free vocational training, accelerating the resolution of labor disputes, establishing a permanent committee to oversee the forthcoming national employment strategy. Sisi also emphasized efforts to modernize Egypt's workforce through the expansion of technical schools and technological universities, as well as international labor agreements aimed at securing jobs for Egyptian workers abroad.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Engineer Mohamed Azzam, the board member of the International Association of the Management of Technology. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
Always pleasure and honor being with you. Thank you so much.
The honor is all mine. Of course, we have seen over the past couple of days the celebration of the country in the attendance of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi of the Labor Day. How did you see this important celebration and the speech that was given by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi announcing a number of reforms, policies and laws in favor of the labor force?
Thank you for this question. Actually, we were witnessing a different perspective when it comes to the celebration of the Labor Day.
Yes.
Now we are seeing the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is talking about the role of higher education, the role of vocational training, and the role of technology at large for reshaping the labor force. And we are witnessing a lot of initiatives that are taking place actually nowadays in so many different disciplines regarding how to upgrade and equipping the youth with the required skills for the job market, which is very important. And of course, technology is playing a pivotal role in this regards due to the rapid pace of development that are taking place. We are witnessing exponential growth of a lot of technologies, especially the artificial intelligence, and its impact, actually its profound impact on every single industry and every single economic sector. So this is all of this are reshaping the job market, and of course the country, the cabinet, the government of Egypt is always keen to upgrade and equip the youth with different skill set to match the requirement of the very sophisticated job market that we are witnessing, especially after the COVID-19, because COVID-19 actually altered a lot of business practices, altered the way we conduct business, altered the way we do our jobs. So it's all connected and actually at very high speed, which is quite a challenge.
Yes, Doctor, how do you see the future of jobs in general all over the world, especially that everyone has this question with the information technology, with the artificial intelligence? How can this be changing the job market? And more specifically here in the country, do you think that anything will change, and if it will change, how it will be changing?
Of course, we are part of the world, and the world is becoming very connected, and this kind of development, especially when it comes to emerging technologies, especially AI, actually, where most of the routine jobs will be automated. And this is a fact, and we need to be aware of that, especially youth and the community at large, actually, because anything can be automated, will be automated. This is a fact now.
Yes.
And of course, technology is always altering the job market, changing jobs. Technology is not a replacement of human jobs, but however, any routine job will be automated. This is actually what is what's happening actually over or even since the late 18th century, since the first industrial revolution.
Yes.
When we moved as a society from agri-based society, which is totally dependent on man labor and animal labor, to the industrial societies, when the machines are taking place and the machines are doing specific jobs. With the evolution of technology, actually is not the progression, it's actually evolution of technology and the evolution of machines. Machines are getting smarter, so we need a total different skill set, and this is very challenging, not here in Egypt only, but also all over the world. If you look at the World Economic Forum reskilling revolution, that a huge initiative which is actually launched in February 2020, a month before the outbreak of COVID-19, and there was a plan for reskilling 1 billion people to becoming technology-proof laborers, and to be able to deal with actually the dynamics of the fourth industrial revolution and beyond the fourth industrial revolution, and is focusing on equipping the labor force with more tech skills and the ability to deal with machines, because we have now what's called a man-machine interface, and man-machine interaction is becoming very sophisticated.
Yes.
Actually, because you are now dealing with smarter machines, and dealing with smarter machines is imposing a lot of challenges on us, that I need to upgrade my skills all the time. maybe in the past I need to upgrade my skill once every 3 or 5 years. Now I need to upgrade my skills once every 3 to 5 months, actually, which is very challenging. That's why if you look at the education, the higher education system now is changing, and we are witnessing the growth of technological universities all over the country, as well as there are a lot of initiatives when it comes to equip youth and fresh grad, and even the people who want to change or have a sort of career change or career shift. Actually, now we have some initiatives are talking about or mainly aiming at providing digital skills for such young generation, and for the people who want to change their career path and to develop a totally different skill set that would match the requirements of very sophisticated job market in an era that we are witnessing, actually, and living it in it every day. And this is that's why the government of Egypt is becoming very agile when it comes to the concept of education, vocational training, continuous or lifelong learning, because actually the most important skill that I need today for everyone who would like to have a footprint in the job market is the ability to learn all the time. It's becoming actually non-stop operation and habit, and that's why we need to change the mindset of the younger generation. We need to change the mindset of the families, the society at large, because this is the only way to keep up with the dynamics of the job market that is changing every day. And of course, the only way is our ability to comprehend the new technologies, the effect of new technologies on the job market, and to have the ability to acquire such skills as fast as we can.
Yes, Doctor, speaking about the skill sets that we need, and of course the small and medium enterprises that we have developed over the past 10 or 11 years under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and according to His Excellency's directives, we have seen encouragement, at least financial encouragement, in the past decade for the younger generations to be having their own businesses, to be entrepreneurs, to be gaining their own money, and to be gaining their own learning experiences over the past decade. How would you see the small and medium enterprises? How would you assess the situation that we have had over the past decade in terms of job creation and creating a whole new market for the younger Egyptians, the young men and the young women, in terms of having new ideas to be developing and getting the reputation and gaining more money and living by it?
Of course, small and medium enterprises actually are the main driver for employment all over the world, and as well as here in Egypt. Actually, they employ like 80% of the labor workforce in Egypt, and the average on the international level, we are talking about 50 to 60% of the labor force are working in small and medium enterprises, because they are agile and they have so many opportunities to acquire different skill set and within different disciplines, and their ability to have different or diversified business spectrum. This would help you to acquire or to have the ability to employ more people from different backgrounds. This one aspect. The other aspect, of course, the entrepreneurship, or having the fast growing companies, especially they are coming from technology background. This also another venue for employment, especially for youth. And actually the need in such enterprises, this kind of enterprise, not only the tech geeks or the people are coming, or the founders coming from pure technology background, but also they always need for people coming from marketing background, business background, accounting background, administrative background, because this is very important for the startups to have this spectrum of team actually. Otherwise, they will never be able to grow in the market, because most of the startups, of course, you know that they are coming from engineering background, scientific background, and they are always missing this kind of skills. That's why we are always encouraging them while mentoring them to have the most important asset, which is the team, and the team should be diversified. I don't need to have duplication of myself within my team. If I'm good at technology, so I need to have a partnership with someone coming from business background or financial background or marketing background, or different within the different disciplines within the industry, because actually combining such expertise together is the only way to flourish, the only way to thrive, the only way to have the ability to have a leap frog actually ahead and becoming more innovative and more able to face the challenges of the market, because of course business is not an easy task to handle. So this is another venue for employing youngsters, and we are witnessing a lot of fresh grad joining now from the early beginning startups, and this is becoming a phenomenon.
Even before graduating?
Actually, there is no age restriction or background restriction, because such young enterprises actually they are looking for talents, and of course with the exposure of knowledge, with this kind of evolution of knowledge, you can find talents across different disciplines, actually even before graduation, because such generation is totally capable to acquire knowledge through digital platforms, through online training, through being exposed to so many different sources. So of course we are witnessing totally different era with totally different dynamics.
Yes, and this needs a totally different mindset. We'll be shedding more light on this mindset. Doctor, allow me to be going to the other report of the daily debate for tonight. As I mentioned, that we had the celebration of the Labor Day, or for the labor force, in the attendance of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, where about 297 million Egyptian pounds were announced to be granted as a grant for the informal workers here in the country. We'll be having more details regarding such an incident during the celebration in the upcoming reports, so stay tuned.
Egypt has approved a 297 million Egyptian pounds payout for informal workers ahead of Labor Day, as the government moves to expand social protections under President Fattah al-Sisi's latest support package. Each eligible worker registered in the ministry's database will receive £1,500, up from £1,000 in previous years. Labour Minister Mohamed announced the decision, confirming that disbursements will begin early next week for registered informal workers. The grant is financed by the Central Fund for the Protection and Welfare of Irregular Labour and marks 50% increase from previous years. This step is part of a broader push to ensure economic security for vulnerable workers, Minister Gibran said in a statement, noting that informal labourers typically receive 6 grants annually, aligned with national holidays and special occasions. In a separate move, the minister also approved £1.5 million in emergency compensation from Disaster Response Fund for 12 workers involved in recent accidents across multiple governorates, including Qana, Asyut, Port Said, Sharqiya, Qalyubiyya and Aswan. The families of 7 deceased workers will receive £200,000 each, while 5 injured workers will receive £20,000 each. The Labour Day grant increase is part of the government's new social relief initiative aimed at easing economic pressure and reinforcing support for Egypt's large informal workforce, which comprises a significant portion of the labour market. Meanwhile, President Fattah al-Sisi has instructed the Ministry of Manpower to boost its role in enhancing human resources and skills to meet the labour market needs domestically and internationally, and upgrade the vocational training system to generate skilled Egyptian workers. President al-Sisi also directed the ministry to develop a comprehensive national strategy to promote occupational safety and health culture ensure compliance with its requirements, and provide a safe work environment for employers and workers. Furthermore, he ordered the establishment of a training center that caters to the training needs of job seekers in the labor market. Additionally, he urged increasing employment rates among people of determination and women, empowering them economically. The President also directed them to achieve legal protection for workers through enhancing follow-up on facilities subject to labor law to ensure law application, especially on the minimum wage.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the program Engineer Mohamed Azzam, the board member of the International Association of the Management of Technology. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate. We were speaking before the break about the achievements that we have had in this field, and more specifically about the future of the job market here in the country. Speaking about the achievements that we have had under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, more specifically in terms of reforms and new laws that were issued in favor of the job market, in favor of the labor force. How did you see them?
It's very important to have agile legal framework that supports mainly small and medium enterprises.
Yes.
Have incentives for small and medium enterprises and high-tech startups as well. Having a sort of incentives financially and non-financially, because actually the financial incentives in this sector or this size of companies is not that important as long as you have the right skill set within your company.
Yes.
And this can be upgraded and can be actually developed through the non-financial incentive. So financial incentive is very important, but as important as the financial incentive is the non-financial incentive. And we are seeing this in the law for small and medium enterprises, the law for technology incentives, and even the new labor law actually is considering now the remote work, which is very important, because with the evolution of technology and the utilization and use models of technology, we are witnessing a lot of people are working remotely. Most of the, actually in some specific sectors, you don't have to go to an office to work.
Yes.
All what you need is to have a good computer with a good internet connection, and you're working from home. And we witnessed that during COVID-19 outbreak, and the COVID-19 outbreak actually showed that it's possible, and actually sometimes is more productive to work from home rather than working from office. Commuting is a cost, spending time in office is another cost, and actually the return of being in office in so many cases is not actually has this kind of impact or return on the business.
Yes.
So sometimes your productivity is even better if you are working in specific domains that you don't have to go to an office to work. So now we are witnessing this concept within the law, which is a very good step towards understanding the new dynamics based on the the technology disruption, and of course having an agile framework is always would help you, especially in the small and medium and even micro enterprises, would help you to grow your business. And if you grow your business, you will be able to become more profitable and to open new markets, and based on that you will be able to hire more people, which is very important, because employment is actually one of the key issues that should be handled carefully, and should be, and we, all of us, all the community, all the stakeholders, the government, the non-state actors, civil society, the private sector, should be in favor of opening new horizons for employment, because it's very challenging, and actually this is the only driver for having a better market condition, and of course this will open directly and indirectly more business opportunities, because the economy is always connected and of course is being affected by each other. So opening doors for, especially for small and medium and even micro enterprises, that would be in favor of more employment and in favor of increasing your productivity and ultimately your GDP, and ultimately your GDP per capita, and having a sort of focused production targeting local, domestic, regional and international market. Also this will be another venue for your economic reform that is taking place here in Egypt, and also especially in the area of startups actually is a very good opportunity for startups to get foreign direct investment and of quality, because actually the quality of investment in such startups is very high, because you are investing in brainware and you are investing in know-how, and of course this is very high value investment, and the return could be 30x, 50x, and the sky is only the limit. And this kind of startups, especially high-tech startups, are becoming very critical for the advancement in any developed and developing economies. That's why we've seen a lot of focus on such sector or segment of our startups. I believe the government, the non-state actors, the donor programs, even the private sector are now encouraging startups and connecting startups with the major businesses, which is very important to have a sort of cluster to help this kind of startups to grow in a healthy way, and their ability will be better for growth if they are really connected with large businesses. And we've seen now so many investment are coming from the private sector to invest in startups and connect them to the real business, which is a very important step towards having sound and robust startups here in Egypt.
Yes, Engineer Mohamed Azzam, the board member of the International Association of the Management of Technology. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
Thank you, and always pleasure being with you. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. However, I will be leaving you with the latest presidential activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi that took place over the past week. All in the upcoming report. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received at Al-Ittihadiyya Palace Ms. Sam Moyston, the Governor General of the Commonwealth of Australia. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received Mr. Laszlo Koper, the Speaker of the Hungarian Parliament. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received Lieutenant General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the Chairman of the Sudanese Sovereignty Council. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received at Al-Ittihadiyya Palace President João Lourenço, the President of the Republic of Angola and the current Chairperson of the African Union. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received a phone call from the Iraqi Prime Minister Mohamed al-Sudani. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi participated in the Labor Day celebrations held at the Suez Steel Company in Suez City. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi followed up on the developments of the national project to develop Al-Zahra Station for purebred Egyptian Arabian horses in Ain Shams area.